Greetings and welcome once again to our program. I'm Larry Wessels, your host, and I want to thank you for being with us today. I'm Director of Christian Answers of Austin, Texas, also known as Christian Debater, and I'm in studio today with my partner in this ministry. A lot of people don't know about him or don't see him that much, but praise the Lord, by the grace of God, he was able to be here today, and so I'm putting him in the public view once again. Steve, great to have you here, brother.
Thanks.
Steve is the Director of Research for our ministry, and he has created 3 great websites, www.muslimhope.com, which deals with Islam. It's not a pro-Islam website, but a lot of people make that mistake because they see the name Muslim Hope and they think it's, oh, get your hope through Islam, but no, it actually refutes Islam. It shows why a better option is to come to Jesus rather than Muhammad. And then, of course, Steve's also put together a great website on early church history and history in general called www.historycart.com. So all things history, he's done all the work. He's made it easy for the rest of you to just go there and find the information you might need on that subject.
For ancient history more.
Ancient history. That's right. And finally, today on this show, we're going to concentrate on your 3rd website, which is www.biblequery.org. And this is a fascinating website, and I've got the very webmaster and creator of it right here in studio with me. So Steve, take it away. Go ahead and tell our viewers about that website.
Okay. Well, the primary part of BibleQuery.org is answering questions on the Bible. There's right now over 8,544 questions answered, but that number always grows. And it's kind of arranged pretty much by a book of the Bible. We have like maybe 389 questions at least on just the book of Genesis. And the questions are all kinds. There are simple questions that maybe people have asked me. There are a number of good books that have been written by Norm Geisler, Gleason Archer, and others. And I take some questions and stuff from there. And another things that people write in, be they atheists, Jewish people, Muslims, or other Christians. Sometimes some more difficult questions come from other Christians. So that's all there for questions that you would have. In addition to that, there are other topical things that talk about the Holy Spirit, the Trinity. There are lots of different topics about prayer, about temptation, just in all different topics. There's also a lot there on the early church history, mostly focused between just after the Bible was written to the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD, and just to see what they said. And some Christians kind of almost ask, why study church history at all? Well, a lot of Christians, they kind of have the attitude that, well, you had the Bible that was written, and then you had the 21st century, and then there was nothing in between. And there's actually a whole lot in between, and there's a lot that we can learn from other Christians. Not that they're inerrant, not that I haven't found any key doctrines that we need to know that weren't in the Bible, but they're useful as echoes to reinforce what we see in the Bible. As a Christian, have you ever asked, is the Bible that they used in the time of, let's say, the disciples of John the Apostle and Paul and other people, is that Bible basically the same as ours? And we can see the answer for what they have there, that yeah, they had the same scriptures we have. Is what they believe pretty much the same as we believe today? Yes, it's the same. And then we have other topics too, related to how to share the gospel with other groups, Jehovah's Witnesses, Mormons, Unification, Oneness Pentecostal, Muslims. Actually, most of the Muslim stuff is off of that on the MuslimHope.com website. Liberal Christians, and some historical stuff on there too. So a lot of variety of different things as you kind of look around. It's got a left navigation bar where you can kind of see everything and then go to whatever you want to go to.
Now, this reminds me, I might as well just say it on the air, that way it'll be harder for you to forget about. But I did notice when you're on that left bar and you can just scroll down through all the material that's available, you'll have like other beliefs.
Mhm.
And like you'll have you can go to like Seventh Day Adventism, and you'll have like I think it's some Sabbatismos.
Tismos, yes.
Yeah, and then you got key websites by other Christians out there who have
Mhm.
good information on that subject.
Right. We're about getting the information out, whether it's our information or somebody else's good information.
That's right. And this reminds me what I've been needing. I'll probably send you an email on this at some point. But I noticed that we don't have Richard Bennett. He's a former Roman Catholic priest for 22 years. He's done a lot of videos. He attended my church here in Austin, Texas, at Dayspring Fellowship. And Rob Zenz also has a website dealing with Roman Catholicism. We don't have those on there yet, brother.
Okay.
And so I need to send you an email, put in some of these websites and some of these other beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I kind of forgot all about that until I heard you talking just now. So I'm putting it on video, so it'll always help me remember. Oh yeah, we need to. So when people are on BibleQuery.org, they're scrolling down. If they see something on another religion somewhere, and you've got a website listed there, that means that we recommend that website for people to go to,
Yes.
and they should find the kind of information that they need, even though we may not have it.
Mm-hmm.
These other guys would have it. And
Yeah.
that's another strength of that BibleQuery.org.
Well, I've found different Christian websites have the same truth but a little different personalities.
Right.
And maybe you like what we have in ours. Maybe you go to the WatchmanFellowship.org, an excellent website, or Answering Islam, another website, and,
right.
and you want to go and see their personality on that instead, and we would recommend that also.
That's right. Or James White's Alpha and Omega
Mm-hmm.
Ministries, AOMIN.org, I think is the name of his website. That's outstanding stuff there.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that these resources available for it's all free.
Mm-hmm.
We're not charging anything for any of this stuff. So feel free to go there. I also want to mention that all our newsletters are posted on BibleQuery.org. This is just a little quick insert to the original video. We're doing this edit of this video a few years later after we actually did it in studio. So things changed a little bit on the website, so that's why I'm telling you this now. If you go to our website, BibleQuery.org, you'll see to the upper left-hand side of the home screen a little icon that says menu. And as it says in the instructions, click on the menu icon in the upper left-hand corner to select a page. Now when you hit that, it'll bring up the selection you see now before you. And you have a search tool right there, but immediately under that you have our YouTube channel. So if you want to see our over 720 videos at the time of this recording on our YouTube channel, just click on that and it'll take you right over to YouTube, and you can have access to all of our videos. And then underneath that you see answers to questions, you see the Bible, doctrine, experience, history, newsletters, practice, prophecy, science, other beliefs, as we mentioned in this video. This site and also material we have posted on this website in other languages. So, for an example here, let's say you want to get access to our newsletters on various subjects. You would click on newsletters. Upon doing that, you'll see a selection of newsletters we've produced over the various decades. There at first we have the Agony of Deceit newsletter, Church of Christ newsletter, Concerning Death newsletter, Confronting the Superstitious Church of the 21st Century newsletter, and so forth down the page. Now, for our purposes, and since we mentioned it before in this video, I'll select as an example Mormonism, counterfeit. Basically, Mormonism is a counterfeit religion. So that's the premise of the newsletter. So if we click on that, you can then see, and here's page 1 of that particular newsletter. You can then access the PDF or whatever version you want, the Word version of that newsletter, and you can then print it out for your own purposes. The other way, if you want an actual hard copy of the newsletter, besides printing this newsletter out over your computer, you can also email us at cdebater@aol.com and request the original copies of the newsletter. But this is a way to avoid all that and just print out any newsletter you want at your leisure. All right, that's your little update here. Keep in mind this resource here is there for your own ministry, to help you with your own Christian ministry in reaching others for Jesus Christ with the good news of the gospel. God bless. If they go to BibleQuery.org, they don't necessarily have to email Steve, which they can do if they want, to get a free hard copy of this newsletter, which will be mailed to them. Once we get a mailing address, we can just send it in the mail. But they can access all our previous newsletters over all the years just by going to that website. Why don't you tell them a little bit more about that?
Well, they can just download it themselves and print it, as many times as they want, for the glory of God. So we have a lot of material there, including, stuff about, well, if you share with someone in a different group, like we have newsletters on Mormonism and Jehovah's Witnesses, but then if you want to know, for example, where in Mormon literature did Brigham Young, is a document that he said, Adam is our God and Father, the only God with whom we have to do. Well, we have a page that has all the different quotes of that.
Yeah.
If you want to look at some of the strange watchtower things about when they predicted Christ to come and all the times they made false predictions, well, I don't know if we got them all, but many of the times we have a page just for that. So sometimes you might want to have details. So it's not like it's just our ministry. It's like we're assisting you in your ministry that you should be doing. And maybe you talk to somebody in another group when they bring up an objection or some question. And I can tell you there's one answer you can give for any question, and it's a fine answer to give. And the answer is, I don't know, but I'll get back to you. There's nothing wrong with that. And so feel free to email our website. And by God's grace, we'll get back to you with an answer that you can give to them. But please, before you email and ask for an answer, try to look for it yourself first.
Yeah, that's the purpose of the website.
Right.
It's giving you over 8,500 Bible answers.
Yeah.
So if you do just scroll through the website and look for the answer you need, you usually can find it. There's been many a time where somebody sent me a question under one of my YouTube videos. There's a comment section under all the YouTube videos, and I get a lot of them every day. And sometimes, I know Steve's got some killer stuff to deal with whatever question I've got to deal with here. Mm-hmm. So all I do is I just go over to one of his three websites, whether it's History Card or MuslimHope.com or Bible Queries we're discussing right now. I just go over there. I know where to look. I just copy and paste the part I need to answer this guy's question on a comment under our YouTube video. And that's what I do. I just go over there to Steve's website, find what I need, copy, paste it, go back over and answer it and a reply on the comment under my YouTube video. And they think I'm a genius, Really, it's his stuff.
So feel free to copy and paste my stuff, and it's not 100% mine. I've got some contributions from others too. Put on forums and blogs.
You give credit where credit's due.
Yeah, but it may be that you have a question and it should be on my website, but it's not. So email me because I get a lot of good questions added by people asking me stuff that's not on there, and so I add. Right. And if you see an answer to a question and you think, I could improve on this, or maybe you're knowledgeable and you say, well, if there's something that could be better or more accurate, please email me that too, because I always want to improve. Now, I will say that there are some questions where knowledgeable, godly Christians disagree, and I don't claim to be inerrant myself. I claim God's Word is inerrant, but I'm not. And so on those type of questions, what I attempt to do is to present both views, or in some cases maybe more than two, as objectively as possible. So if you look at some stuff, you'll say, well, here's all this stuff that shows one thing, and then right afterwards I'll have a bunch of stuff showing the other. And it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm saying that, okay, well, I'm going to do one or the other, but to show you, the different sides of stuff.
Mm-hmm. And one final thing I'll say, and I said this on one of our other website videos, but I'll just repeat it here. You can, when you're dealing with people, either in internet conversations, say you're talking to a Muslim or something, and he brings up some points, and you need help, you can go to Steve's website on Islam or or if they're just asking general Bible questions about Genesis or something,
Mm-hmm.
they can go to BibleQuery.org and get the answer and copy and paste it. But let's say you're dealing with somebody that doesn't speak very good English. Maybe you're dealing with somebody, and I get a lot of people contact me either through Facebook or my YouTube videos from other countries. So they speak broken English, but I usually find out what language, or what country they are, and then what you can do is go to Google Translate, and that offers you almost 40 different languages from around the world. And you can take a copy and paste, let's say, from one of Steve's websites that answers their questions or whatever, and put it in Google Translate, where it's English on one side and it translates it into whatever language you want on the other side. And I did this with some Arabic people. I actually sent out a bunch of them. In fact, well, anyway, I won't go into all that right now, but I'm just saying that I put the English, I'll have a copy and paste on one side, I put it for Arabic on the other, and voila, it translated, quite a bit of material into Arabic. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, in fact, I was just, over the last few weeks, I've been corresponding with somebody from Colombia in Spanish, using it the whole time. The guy's never spoken one word of English to me. Yeah. But I just translate his stuff into English and then get the answer for him, and then I translate it back and send it back off to him. So that's another way to witness for Christ in this global communication we now have through the internet. Mm-hmm. Any final comments, brother?
Well, sometimes you get the idea that, well, Christians can't answer certain questions. Either non-Christians think that, Christians don't know much, or Christians themselves say, well, I'll just preach Jesus and just tell my personal testimony and not answer any questions. And doing those things is a great thing, but it's like, why not answer their questions when you have the resource to answer the questions?
There's no excuse these days.
Yeah.
It's all right there.
So you can answer any question with the answer, I don't know, but I'll get back to you, which is perfectly fine. And then look it up and answer their question.
Exactly. All it takes is a little time and a little effort.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the problem is most people don't want to put the effort into it, but the opportunity's there. And let's face it, we're all going to have to stand before God someday and explain our, what we've done in this life.
Well, not only what we've done, but also to explain what we didn't do.
Exactly.
And we should have done.
Exactly. The sins of commission and omission. Mm-hmm. It all adds up together on the day of judgment. So as Christians, we should do our part. As Walter Martin used to say, we all have our little part in the vineyard. We all have our place. And so we have our little sphere of influence to reach those around us, because your sphere of influence is different than mine. Mm-hmm. And so each one of us as Christians is in our place, that vineyard, that part of the vineyard God's put us in. And we're expected to do what we can for Christ while we're here on this planet. Okay, with that said, I want to sign off for now. We'll remind you, we've got the free newsletter. You can contact Steve through cdebater@aol.com. And like I say, if you email, just go ahead and put your mailing address on there, then Steve can forward it to me, and I'll fire it off. And it doesn't have to be just on the latest newsletter. If there's a newsletter we did in the past and you'd like to have a hard copy of it, mention that to Steve when he sends it to me, and then if it's on Jehovah's Witness or whatever, I can Islam, I can send that to you at your request, and it won't cost you a dime, because we're not in this for the money. Okay, with that said, I want to thank Steve for being with me. Always great to have you here, brother. Join us again next time for another installment of Christian Answers Presents. I'm Larry Wessels for Christian Answers, wanting to remind you that Jesus said in John chapter 14, verse 6, Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father except by me. Now, Muslims say Jesus is just another man like anyone else. He's just a prophet that God liked. But how can a man that's say, I am the way, the truth, and the life? He's not just a prophet or an exalted prophet. If you say, I am the way, the truth, and the life, that makes you a lot more than a prophet. A lot more than a prophet. And so find out about these things, because Jesus was God in the flesh. And that point is argued vehemently throughout the world. But when you read what Jesus said, it can only mean one thing. But anyway, I can go on with a whole nother sermon, but I'm trying to sign off here, so I will. Mm-hmm. With that, God bless you all, and join us again next time. Thank you. Bye-bye. If you like our YouTube channel, please subscribe by clicking on the subscribe button and then by also clicking the bell above to get an automatic update whenever we produce another YouTube video for our CAnswersTV channel. Please share our videos with your friends and relatives. May God bless you. Only one life will soon be passed. Only what is done for Christ will last. See related videos by tapping or clicking screens.